To my nameless wanderers, welcome and thank you for stumbling on this part of the internet. Today I wanted to talk about something different. I wanted to try a different kind of idea. So this was an idea I've tried a few times, but it's never really worked. But I'm going to try and workshop it now with a different-ish concept. So it's kind of like talking to you guys in general, but it's also with a slight script. So unlike my usual scripts, which is like a fully fledged thing, this one will be like just a half one. So I have my basic points and then I'll just spew out like while also interjecting with these basic points. So what it will basically be like is I have my points that I have to read out, but then while I'm talking I'll be able to rant and do whatever else I want to do. Basically that's the gist of what I'm trying to do with this idea. Anyway, so this idea, I'm trying to start off with like a topic that I was super interested in, like was planning to do like an actual scripted video on, but so today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite creepypastas. But before I go on, I do want to say, like, Borrasca is, like, a seriously messed up story. Like, it's not like a poorly written story, or it's not, like, handles it, like, in a, like, really bad way. But, like, what I mean is that, like, if you have, like, a general discussing, like, some of the topics, or, like, have, like, issues, or, like, had scenario, like, Borrasca is probably, like, not the best story to go on. There's a lot to it, and, like, I'm going to, like, just say this. Like, this is a warning, like, if you're going to watch Borrasca. First of all, like, I do want to say, like, if you know that you won't get triggered by, like, anything anything at all, then, like, I would suggest to ignore, like, the trigger warning and, like, to just watch it. But, like, I would still recommend, like, seeing this warning at least, because, like, the story gets to, like, really, really hardcore places. So, this is what it is. So, basically, by the end of Borrasca, it's revealed to be, like, the town is, like, run by, like, rape and, like, making babies with people who, like, don't want it and stuff. It's, like, super messed up. Like, that's the basic plot of, like, that's the basic twist. So if you, like, don't like that stuff, like, don't even, like, read it. Don't read it. Like, there are lots of other stuff, lots of other cool pastas out there. Like, stuff like that. Sorry, it's, like, hard to say. Like, while I say this, like, it is, like, done well enough, but, like, I'm not an expert on this topic, and I don't have, like, trauma or, like, anything about it, so, yeah, like, so I'm not the person to talk about this on, like, that topic, but, like, just be advised with Borrasca, it's, like, very messed up, but, like, if you want to, like, hear more about it, because, like, it's cool, just watch the rest of my video, or, like, actually read it yourself, because, like, it is a very good pasta, very, very good pasta. Okay, so now I'll do, like, a basic summary of, like, Borrasca, not, like, completely, just, like, part one. So, like, if you want to be invested in the story, you can. So, basically what happens is, this kid called Sam, he goes to a town called Risking because, like, his dad did, like, something bad. Like, while he and his sister at first don't like it, like, he warms up while his sister doesn't. Like, the town is kind of, like, Gravity Falls in a way. Like, not exactly, but it's more like a realistic version where it's, like, this dreamish paradise, but, like, there's just something off about it. Like, while in Gravity Falls, it's, like, the creatures and stuff, in Borrasca, it's Borrasca itself. Borrasca isn't a place, isn't, like, a person, isn't a thing. Borrasca is this, like, Borrasca is a place. It's not a thing, like, while everyone thinks it first is. It's more like this place where, like, these weird happenings happen, like, every so often you'll hear, like, a metal droning coming around. It'll, like, be, like, very, like, bone chilling, like bones are being cut. Or you'll hear, like, sometimes, like, girls especially get not kidnapped, but, like, disappear in the town. Oops, I accidentally spoiled something. But, like, whatever, like, you probably had the warning anyway. So, like, all these girls, like, all these people, like, disappearing, and, like, it has something to do with Borrasca. Like, that's, like, the basics of Borrasca. Like, at first, part one is basically kind of, like, learning about Borrasca, but mostly learning about the town, which at first is, like, a very nice place, very interesting place, and our main guy gets, like, two friends who are kind of, like, I don't know, like, the loser pact in the Stanley Kubrick, like, Stephen King book, It. They're kind of, like, the losers, but, like, they're the cool losers. Like, they're fun people, and, like, you'd like to hang out with them more than, like, the actual quote-unquote popular people. These guys are, like, fun and interesting in ways that, like, the kids aren't. These guys are like super like fun, interesting characters. Like every one of them like has a charisma and like interesting thing about them. Like Sam is like, well, like kind of basic. He is still like a very interesting character. Kyle, who's his best friend, is like very bombastic, very fun, very like energetic and friendly and interesting in like so many ways. And Kimber is like sweet, interesting, like and caring. Like she's like a very nice person. Like one of those people like who would like be like super nice like on a good day, like to be with, and like super fun like to be with like on like just a normal day. Like she is like a very nice character and like one of like the sweetest characters in the story. In fact, like I've wanted to like have a character named like Kimber since for quite a while. But like the weird thing about the town is like while it's like this super nice place, like everyone about it has like something off about them. Like where if you talk to the adults at like Borrasca, like or like talk about like the disappearances, they don't really talk about it too much. And also there's this weird two interesting like things about it. One, the town has a lot of redheads. As we know, that's not a common thing. And a lot of the children in the town usually have two names, either something that starts with K or something that starts with P. This will be expanded upon later, but we also know about this one other guy called Prescott, Jimmy Prescott. He is basically like the town mayor without being the town mayor. But like anyway, so like at first all we know about like Jimmy is that he's like a rich guy and his family basically saved the town, and that he is basically the main part of the town. At first he seems like really nice, but like once we learn about him more, like that mask of niceness just flips away like completely. But like there's also under interesting part about it. It's like the town police are like not just inept, they don't do their job at all. Like these people are getting kidnapped like all the time, but like the town barely does anything about it. It's like a super big mystery. But the last two big mysteries are one this triple tree, which is like a tree house that like all the kids scratch their name in, but like there's all this like weird writing on like the town on the tree, like Hell's Gate, Passageway 1, and beware of the triple tree and stuff. It's like super ritualistic and stuff. But the other interesting thing about it is Sam's sister. At first she's just like a basic character, but then she gets kidnapped. Well, I don't personally mind spoilers. I think Borrasca is one of the few stories that you should read unspoiled, and also like I don't want to just like repeat the story word for word. I'm not going to do a great job, and I do think like it's great to just hear the story itself. And besides, I think like I'd rather do it later when like I know how to use this formula more, since I'm just starting off with it. Anyway, like I'm just going to talk about the characters a bit and just give some input on the story right now. Maybe later I'll do more about it, or like even just a scripted video on it. But for now, this is all I'll do. Hope you enjoy it regardless. Anyway, let's get on with this part. So first of all, something interesting to note about like when I first heard about Borrasca, like it was kind of like I read like the first bits. Sorry, I say read, but like I watched Mr. CreepyPasta's video. I watched the first bits and like got kind of bored. That's because like at first Borrasca doesn't seem like that interesting of a story, but like it's more one of those slow burn stories that like. But the thing about Borrasca is like you just have to bear like a few minutes of boredom, then like it gets like super interesting. And like when I say boredom, it's just not as fast at first, but like once you get into the story, like those slower moments become like super good like too. So just know like if you get like a little bored of Borrasca at first, just wait a bit and like you'll see how like good it gets later. I think it's like One Piece people saying like I would never watch One Piece, like 1,000 chapters is like way too much. But Borrasca is only 4 hours and like you're only watching like a 140-minute video. So you know pretty quickly if that's not for you. Unlike One Piece where you'd have to kind of like, I don't know, like stop living for like an entire month just to see like if you like One Piece, and then like have to commit to the rest of your life watching One Piece only. Like I don't know how One Piece people do it. Like man, they must like have no life. Like they must truly be vampires. Like all the vampires, like there's a reason why we don't have like people like with like bite marks, like new vampires anymore. All the vampires are watching One Piece and like itching for the next One Piece chapter. Silly. Now we'll go into the characters, but one thing I did want to say before I go on to them is that like Gravity Falls is a good comparison to Borrasca because it's also kind of in that similar vein, but like Borrasca's a lot more realistic. So just something to note. Anyway, here are the characters. Sam is kind of like he's the main character. He's kind of normal, nice, and fun and interesting, but is a bit bland. He's a rebel though, like, and also is kind of like he's kind of like the main person, like in like a group that we know about. Well, when I say like he's a rebel, like I mean like he swears and like drinks alcohol and like, some other stuff as well. Like he's a fun character at first, but like once you get like into it more, he's still kind of like that. But like as the series goes on, like he gets a bit more shut in. He's a fun character and also like pretty interesting because like he's one of those characters that like is like you read about him, but you're not really reading for him. You're reading him so that you can read the world in a way. But he still does his job super well and is super fun. Like regardless, like I would say like as another comparison character, like Harry Potter, like Harry Potter, like if you read the books, isn't that interesting of a character. He's more meant to just show off more interesting characters and show us the wizarding world. But while Sam has his own personality and his own interesting parts to him. So yeah, that's more all I have to say about Sam. Now on to Kyle. Kyle is kind of the more bombastic, more energetic. He's the leader of this essentially losers club. He's the fun, energetic leader of the group. He's fun, interesting. He is like very emotional, very interesting. Like he's this character, like I would say, like if you're going to read Borrasca, he's the one character I know you'll love because like he's just super fun, super interesting, super like energetic. Like he is like almost like an anime protagonist in a way. Like but like he's like just like the best and goodest person in the world. Like he's just like he may like do drugs and all this other stuff, but like he's the fucking best character. Like I cannot say how much I like this character. He's super awesome, like super fun, like super protective, super like everything. Like this guy deserves the world and all this stuff. Like that's a funny like when you hear me say it because like you'll like hear what happens in Borrasca 4 and like oh man, like I know I did sorry I accidentally spoiled it, whatever. Anyway, onto Kimber. She's wait what? Sorry, my notes are a bit hard to read right now. Should have formulated these better. Kimber. Kimber is like, while Sam and Kyle are kind of dumb, Kimber is the more caring and smart girl. Oh, well, Sam and Kyle are both caring, not as much as Kimber. She's sweet, emotional, and also a lot of other stuff. Like she's not like when I say it, like it may sound like she's like the typical girl like character, like what's it called, like that girl in Naruto. She's not like that. She's like well developed and like well done. It's just she has some of those basic tropes, but like it's still like well done, like well interesting. Like when you read about the character, like you were super into her. And I will say like she is probably the character that the story uses most for emotional events because like she is the character who is most like who has most of the problems like happen to her, and like I would say like she is like interesting enough like that you will care about her and like cool enough that you want to like have her have the best happen. So when these emotional things happen to her, like you are super into it, and like when I say like she's smart, she is like literally one of like the most cool and smart characters. Like if the trio didn't have her, like they would just fall apart like completely. Anyway, on to like the next character I wanted to talk about, Jimmy. Jimmy is interesting because like he is like evil, like he is like bad, and like he is quite literally like a comic book villain, like quite literally. Like there's no other way to say it. At first he seemed kind of normal, sorry about that. He seemed kind of normal, like just a businessman, but then as we read it, he's just become like a creep and like evil. Whereas I'd say like he is a good creepy like character and is kind of like fun more the way like a fun character to hate. He like also like just generally like hate. He's super disgusting, like super evil, like honestly, like when you read the story you like learn to hate him who like. But whatever, like Jimmy is like a super bad character, but at the same time, as I said, like he's a cartoon villain. Like if you're like looking for like nuance, you see the main characters, but like the villains are pretty one note. While I don't mind this, I will say it would be nice if he had like a bit more nuance to him. But whatever. One last character I wanted to bring up is Sheriff Walker, aka Sam's dad. There is so much we don't know about this character, but he gets important later. He seems to care about his dad. He has some like weird undertones at the end, but there's just so much unknown about him. Like, while I will say, like, I don't really mind him right now, and he could be, like, a very interesting character, what happens to him in the sequel, like, I'm super not a fan of. If I ever talk about Borrasca 5, I'll talk about why I don't really feel he's the best there. Also, now on to Drisking, like, the town. It's a super nice place. It's, like, kind of like a dreamish house place. It's, like, one of those places you don't really think, like, would ever really exist. But then you find out it does. It's, like, got, like, an even twisted or darker on this side. It's honestly, like, a really good, like, character. At first, like, at first you're like, Sam, you think, like, the town is the best, all this other stuff. But then once you read the story more, like, you realize, and, like, with Sam as well, how twisted and corrupted the town is. Honestly, it's just a really good story, really, really well done. Well, that's about all I can do right now. I'm sorry that this video isn't the best. I'm right now working on the twinks and kinks and all this stuff. But, like, for now, I hope you enjoy this video. Hopefully it'll get better as time not hopefully. It will get better as time goes on. I promise you of that. I promise you of that. But for now, just enjoy it, like, right now. And I'll see you when, like, ever I do one of these again, and hopefully you'll see me through the skit video I'm going to do later too. Thank you and goodbye. Have a good day, and please remember to like, comment, and subscribe and all that shit. Bye.